This video will walk you through finding scholarly articles and articles from magazines from our education databases. So we're going to look at the subject-specific databases that the library subscribes to related to education. Most of those databases are all from the same vendor called EBSCO, and there's actually a button on the library's homepage for EBSCO. In addition, these EBSCO databases are listed on your course guide, so you could use that to find the names of them again, to go back in and do some searching. But if I click on EBSCO, it may ask you to log in if you're off campus, but then it takes you to an advanced search screen. Actually, because I used the library's homepage, it took me out to a general multidisciplinary database called Academic Search Ultimate. I'm going to zero in on education rather than using that big multidisciplinary databases. So I can change what I'm searching by clicking on Choose Databases. And then I get a long list of all the things that the library subscribes to from this company. I'm going to turn off Academic Search Ultimate for now. You could always go back and search it again. And I'm going to zero in on Education Research Complete and Professional Development Collection, which is teacher professional development or educator professional development, and then ERIC. And there are some others in this list that might be useful for you. You could look at the course guide to find those as well. But I'm going to start with those three, which they cover education in a very broad manner, so most of your topics should work in these three databases. If you're searching something specific related to psychology or sports or a specific science maybe, you might want to look at some of the others. But for the most part, these are zeroing in on teaching and learning. So I'm going to try the topic of incorporating physical movement. Or maybe I'll use activities. Now, I'll probably end up trying both of those. And this process of picking your keywords is one of the most important things you'll do in terms of your research. You want to make sure that you're investigating all the different synonyms and possibilities and have something broad enough so that you get what you need, but also specific enough as you zero in on a specific topic. But I'm going to start with the broad physical activities, and I'm especially interested in reading instruction. I could also put in something like just at the elementary level or just at the secondary level, or maybe just with a certain population, maybe only students with autism or only at-risk students. But at this point, I'm going to leave it broad. There are some limiters further down on this page, as you can see, but I'm going to ignore those for now and just do my search and get a results list. I like to put in limiters after I have a results list because depending upon what I get, I might want to limit in different ways. Now, I've got almost 900 articles, which is probably more than I really need. So let's look at some of the limiters on the left-hand side and see if they might be useful. I'm not going to limit to full text because that takes away some of the full text that I might be able to get through other resources the library owns. Scholarly peer-reviewed journals, I'm going to start by limiting that. I don't really want magazines. At this point, I really want to find some research articles to use in my lit review. You could always take that out and pick up some of the other types of resources. I definitely don't want to go back to 1890, so let's go up and just do the last maybe 20 years. So it's going to zero in on those. All right, so now I have a results list that'll be a little more useful. 228 articles. And I can go down this list and let's take a look at a few. School-based physical activity opportunities in third grade reading. This looks great. I'm going to click on it and talk a little bit about the record that the database gives you. So I get more information on this specific page. I still have a link to look at the full article, but I get more information that might be useful to you. And specifically, you'll want to look at the descriptors. This is what can help, one of the places that can help the most with picking out those keywords. And remember, in the library databases, you don't want to write questions, you don't want to write sentences, you want to pick out specific keywords. And physical activity seems to be pretty good. Reading instruction, they're both there. And then I get an abstract that can help me know whether or not this is an action research-based article and whether or not it'll be helpful to me. So it gives you a little more info, and I'd always check those out. And then if it looks good, you can use the linked full text to go right to the article. I'm going to go back to the result list. So that's one way to get articles. If there's a linked full text link, you can go right out to that article. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I've got a lot of linked full text. This one is a PDF full text, and that will also take you right to the article. I can continue to look at some of this one talks about physical fitness. Maybe that would be something that I'd be interested in searching as a keyword. Here's some classical perspectives. That looks good. It doesn't seem to really zero in on the reading side of things, though. Reading instruction and text difficulty. The relationship between academic achievement and healthy school transformations, maybe. That sounds like it would be a little different than what I looked at. So let's see if we can get a hold of this. I don't see a link here. There's no PDF. There's no linked full text, but it says find the item at UWSP. If I click on that, what it's going to do is go out and check our other databases and our other resources and see if in search at UW it can find this item. And it did find the item in the database, but it says no full text available at the library. So if you run across that, we don't have access to the full text, you can request it from Interlibrary Loan. So if I click on this Interlibrary Loan link, it's going to ask me to sign in. Click on the Interlibrary Loan link. It'll take you out to a form that's all filled out with the information about this article, and then you can submit it, and we'll get a digital copy and send it to you. So that's a way that you can get a hold of the things that maybe we don't have right away in the EBSCO databases. I'm going to go back to the results list by using the tabs. And then if I want to show you one more thing, that if you find an article that looks good, let's look at this one. So I click on it. I talked about the subject descriptors and the abstract. In addition, when you go to the specific article, there are tools along the right-hand side that can help you stay organized. You can email this article to yourself. You can save it, but first you'd have to set up an account and do all these things. I usually either email the article or use a permalink to keep a record of the articles that I find. And again, here I'm getting some other ideas: physical fitness, exercise, curriculum. So some things that I might use for specific additional searches in the EBSCO databases. You also want to start, as you look through the list of articles, you might get ideas for narrowing your topic so that you have a specific action plan, a specific group of students, or a grade level, or a geographic limiter, or even a specific tool that you might use for physical activities. Maybe we talk about yoga, or maybe we talk about aerobic exercise. So specific exercise, specific activities that could be used in reading instruction, and examples of those, or even any kind of instruction, maybe the effects of physical activities. So you have to kind of have a conversation with the keywords and think about ways that you might search this differently or with more specificity to bring you more of those articles that are important. You also want to pay attention as you find articles to the literature that they used. So you want to look at the bibliographies, you want to pull things together to see the types of things that show up on almost every article that's been used over and over on this topic, and to explore further. So that's how you could use EBSCO to broaden your search, find articles from scholarly journals and magazines related to topics in education.